And welcome everyone to the Refinement meeting. So now I need to find my right tab to share so we can all see the agenda. And there it is. So please add yourself to the list and join the Scrum Poker.
Would you please copy the link to the
Yes, I'm looking for exactly that. Oh, no, sorry. Okay, Zoom tight. Wrong link. Here it is, the right one. Okay. So today we have quite some tickets to refine. Let me jump into that. So first ticket of today is the cert manager. So Keptn has a very nice and handy cert manager that provides you with a possibility to register self-signed certificates for your operator. And this is very general. And other projects might benefit from this. Therefore, we should try to make this more oops, on component. More available to other projects to be able to reuse it. Currently, the cert manager works with two different components. The operator that creates the self-signed certificates and attach them to the different workloads that have some specific labels that this operator is watching for, and the library that can interface with the certificates and can make sure that everything is stopped until the certificate is valid. Now, the question is, what's the best way how to approach this problem to make it more general so other projects can rely on this? Either we create a new repository with both the operator and the library, and with a couple this release cycle in a separate repository, or we keep everything as it is inside the KLT repo, and we just have a separate release pipeline for the cert manager. Opinions from the community?
I mean, due to the requirement of independent release cycles, I would go with option 1, new repository.
Me too, yeah.
To me also, it looks way more straightforward.
Yes, so if they follow a decoupled release cycle, I would also split the repos.
We could reuse the Helm charts repository from KLT if we want to.
Okie dokie. Oopsie. And I see that
there's some double people.
I just need to delete the estimations. Okay, so are we ready to estimate this ticket? Do you want to have more informations? And this meant that it's for 0.9. So one extra release will still be with everything bundled together. This is also for giving Simon enough time to finish the Periplus things without, adapting yet again another time the configuration.
So this ticket is also to make sure that KLT release still works fine and do all the changes in the Helm chart and whatnot, right?
Yes. Yeah, I would say we can split that as a follow-up of this ticket.
Okay.
This is just for moving the existing things into its own repo. And make sure that the release and everything works fine.
So building manifests without, basically everything without Helm charts works.
Yeah, just the image needs to be published in the GitHub registry, NKI, like we have currently. So we can just then use that image somewhere else.
How are we going to document this mess?
At the
We gonna
moment, this
document
is
this
not.
as a
No,
separate
no, no, no.
product?
This is not documentation. This is developer only.
Okay.
So
But I mean, for the user perspective, nothing changes.
no, this
Yeah.
is a developer specific product. So other projects, for instance, Jaeger, which is using the cert manager dependency, if they don't want to rely on a dependency project, or they can use this project, the Keptn cert manager. Okay, dokie. I see that Thomas and Simon didn't put an estimation. If you don't know how much complex is this work, you can also put a question mark.
I can't find the link for the board. You're gonna screw everybody up.
Oh, no worries. Someone, perfect.
Ah,
Thank you.
thank
Moritz, it's already-
you.
So far, me and Moritz are towards more large type of work, whereas the rest is towards the medium. Maybe Moritz, since you have much more deep insights into the pipelines, can you please motivate URL?
I can't put my finger on it, but I see lots of hidden complexity that we can't really foresee now. I mean, all pipelines need to be changed. We need to think about what we want to set up again in the other repo. Or the base setup basically for a new repo that we do.
Yeah, the moment is to copy paste everything. So
But even then you need a pipeline to push images and stuff
yes,
like that.
exactly. That's also why I justify my L with. We need to create the same setup that we have for the lifecycle operator and trim then that out of all the things that are not cert manager related.
But code-wise, we touch nothing. It's basically only pipeline in this ticket.
Exactly. And an extra complexity because pipeline usually takes a lot of effort in try and error. It's hard to
How
test it locally. Yes, Simon?
a question from my side, how often will this happen, that this will be split out into an own repository? Is this just now a one-time occasion, or do we plan that this happens more often in the future?
No, only one off.
Okay.
So motivation for your Thomas, Florian, Anna, Andre.
No strong opinion. I was between M and L. Went for the low run, but completely okay with an L.
Yeah, same here.
Anna.
I don't know, in my mind, I would copy everything we have and delete everything that doesn't have cert manager in it, but sure.
You're a very positive, hoping person. I like it.
And then we debug it.
And then we debug it for 5 days.
Just like you just rename things.
Yeah, exactly. Where is the just star?
I heard you
Okay.
volunteer for the pipeline.
Silence. Okay, then let's skip this one because first I see 2 bugs. Therefore, I would like to start with the bugs. Sorry if I missed that before. Anna.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether we should tackle this or what to do. So basically the scheduler has, as the scheduler library is done by Kubernetes, you have to set up a deadline, like a threshold for when the pod is evicted. And we have 2 different kind of behavior, as far as I remember. There is only one case in which we fail the scheduling. In most of the case, what happened is that we have our own logic that refresh this eviction time all the time. So these 2 things are not consistent. And when we will then maybe level up towards 126, where we use something else, again, we will have a different way of handling things. So maybe it would be nice to try to have the same behavior before we do the switch.
For the readiness gates, you mean how to handle that? Okay.
Because with readiness gates, we forever loop, as far as it's my understanding. I don't know, Andre. So there is no such thing as an eviction
Eviction
in
anymore.
that case.
I'm also in favor of not evicting stuff, because I would say if you want to evict things or remove things, you should apply the manifest in reverse. So kubectl delete, and we shouldn't delete any resource. Thomas,
Yeah.
do you have a different opinion? Because you look.
Not really.
Okie dokie. So we have an agreement. Nice. Then this one, it's in between a bug and enhancement, a feature request. So Andre, do you recall all the details for this?
Not all, but the main problem was or not the problem, the main problem, it was a little bit of confusion, how it looked out. As you can see, where the problem is that currently we have how was it called? The generation.
Yeah, at the moment we have the name of the application that you want to deploy, its version, and then a unique identifier, let's call it like that.
Exactly.
Which is the generation ID provided by Kubernetes.
Exactly. So, and the problem is that the generation ID always at each restart or change of the deployment bumps up. Therefore, if we release a new version, like you see in the example, up version 0.1.1, the generation does not start from the beginning, but starts logically, it gets bumps more and more. It may be confusing for the users in the future if they see something like this, because previously the aim was that it should look like the example in the following, that whenever you bump the version, it starts from the 1 again. But if it's really needed, I try to make a POC, but I spent maybe 1 day on it, but the complexity of this was like bumping higher and higher, and I wasn't able to find a solution within 1 day. So,
but besides that, I think behavioral, there is a problem, because I believe that this generation ID belongs to application and not to the application version.
Exactly.
So I think this is correct in my view. It's not a problem. Because I know now this is the 3rd time I try to release this application.
Exactly. Or this is the 3rd time I updated basically the application.
So to me, this is not a bug.
Okay, I'm completely.
But up to the rest of the community. Thomas, I see you nodding, but I don't know to which of the opinion. Is it a bug or not a bug?
I think in reality it's not really a bug, but it's also not pretty. So
that's why I created the issue, that at least we discuss it.
So for me, it's kind of misleading, because when I would have such a notation, I would assume that when I have the 0.1.0, that the tube behind it is the 2nd version of 0.1.0. Or the 2nd revision, sorry. And this is not correct in this case. So what we could do is that we add some kind of a hash or whatever at the end.
To avoid that easily. Yeah, I was also thinking that.
Because then it would not be misleading anymore. So then it's only an identifier.
I also think that in order to, because this idea we never decide on anything. We just need a unique identifier. And they can see if we provide a number, people can assume some semantics out of this number. And then hash is a bit better to avoid this.
Or auto-generated cute names.
I would maybe rather stick to using the metadata generation, but we can hash it, the value.
Yeah,
Because it's always bump. We have the certainty that we will never have to.
But if we
Same
use the
hashes.
hash, maybe it's easier to use it on the whole thing, so that you have actually a representation of the.
But you want to see the version as a user. I want to see that version of the application. At least me personally. I don't know what your opinions are.
Yeah, but you need to present the version. App and version of this app is important in the name. Everything else, to make it unique, I would follow the standard pod notation where you have some random characters out of that.
Also.
And now I can't see anything anymore because the blinders decided to go up and make me blind. Too much sun in the south of Austria. The following format: app name, version, hash, to avoid to give.
And do we use the revision number in the end somewhere?
I think
Just to compare or
no.
whatever.
No, it's just for the reason of bumping the generation,
In
basically.
the workload instance controller, I think we are using the revision to correctly associate the workload instance to the correct application version.
But I guess
So
that's
this is something that needs to be double checked at least.
if I'm not wrong, that we should use generation there as well. So
Okay. Then back. I would like to briefly discuss this ticket so we don't have to refine it. It's just a FYI to the community. We are working towards a KubeCon demo. And this is the setup of the demo that we will present at KubeCon. Thanks, Flo, for presenting and preparing the ticket. And the focus should be on the Keptn metrics. So if you want to have more info for this, just read the issue 1135. Oops, I forgot to remove the ready for refinement. And this will be afterwards part of our example folder. And then, oh, someone got it here on the top. Oh, Moritz, you change it a bit. And it bumped to the top. So this was a great suggestion from the community member, Dark Gordon. The idea is that we should also be able to pass through some labels from the task definition to the real task execution. So in the task definition, you can also provide some labels annotation. So you can then, when you generate the Keptn task or the Keptn lifecycle toolkit generates the task, you can filter with label selectors on them. Is the scope of this ticket clear? Adding annotation labels into the Keptn task definition so we can pass it through. when we create then the task. So let's put an estimation. Okay. Ooh. Sounds like the perfect agreement here. And let's get rid of the label. Nice, thank you. And now we have installation documentation from Mag. This is a very big epic. Mag, do you want to discuss the epic or the different tickets?
The epic, the different tickets but the background here, mostly it's kind of a strange way of going at it, but I'm hearing from Andy on almost a daily basis that our installation documentation is inadequate and we need to do something fast. It's obviously a really, really big project and we have it out there as a project for Google Season of Docs Google Season of Docs, which will be later in the year. I think it's a little bit after GSOC. So to do a stopgap, what I am proposing, I've spent the day trying to pull together the picture from, we've got Adam's demo video, we've got the getting started section in the documentation, and we've got Andy's, and trying to pull together sort of a stopgap thing that puts down the basic steps. And I'll do that now, and then we'll defer, and I'll put some at the top of the section that, I put it elsewhere. This is under development and material has been technically reviewed as accurate, but it may not be complete. And then we defer the real work to the Season of Doc project. Does that seem workable to everybody? And I started to do the more tickets, and even they're flaky. And then last night it wouldn't let me create a new ticket. I kept getting an error message, so I did not get everything done. So here we are.
So, yep, it sounds very good to me. And yesterday GitHub had some hiccups, so that's why
Yeah.
you couldn't create the
Yes.
ticket.
Yes, I didn't think I was being picked on particularly, but it did annoy me nonetheless. Yeah, so, and all I ask is be gentle in your reviews. This is, we want to make what's there accurate, but it's not going to be complete and it's probably not going to be wonderful. But hopefully we can make it a little bit better and get some things. I think a lot of it would be helped, like we mentioned annotations, and we don't have a link to the Kubernetes annotation. So if I'm not a real Kubernetes, and what we've got right now is a lot of these students trying to do this and they're just getting hosed. So I think a few hints like that might put us in a little bit better shape for the next few months until we can do it right with the Season of Docs. So
Sounds very good to me. And for the rest of the maintainers, please have a look on the PRs for documentation and try to propose us many suggestions how to improve the content as possible. Especially because since many people are just new to the project, might not have the greatest picture. So try to be also verbose when we're explaining why we request some changes in the docs.
yes.
Okie dokie. Thank you, Meg.
Thank you.
Then nice leftovers tickets here, Moritz. New basic container images.
Yep. So I actually changed the images, our base images recently, to use the distro static ones instead of the Debian base ones. To kind of reduce image size, we saved like, I don't know, 60, 70 megabytes or something, all in all, that you need to, like, users need to download less, basically. Yeah, and I basically stumbled upon some other commonly used base images, and we could kind of do some research on that to maybe change the base images completely. I found some different interesting things. There's the UV images from Red Hat. There's also Chain Guard, which looks pretty good. They actually have SLAs, or like, yeah, kind of SLAs for the amount of vulnerabilities in their base images, which is pretty cool.
And they're also
so maybe
pretty
that's
fast
something
in
to look
fixing
into.
them.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that's an option.
Yeah.
I put good first issue on this and try to kind of summarize what we are looking for here. So maybe some community member can also work on this. The outcome should basically be a comment on this ticket with some research results. That would already be good enough for me, I think.
Yep. I think this is a very nice, interesting research topic to be done. Let me. Do we have our research? No, never mind. A good first issue for anyone here to be picked up from the community. Thank you, Moritz. Any questions for this? And now looking in particular to you, Rakshit, would you be able to take this ticket as it's written, as a bit of feedback for us, how we write tickets? Is this described well enough for newcomers to pick this up and start to work on these tickets?
Yes, I think it is.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, do you want to take this ticket?
Right now, I'm working on 2 to 3 other issues. When I'll be done with that, I'll maybe
Yeah,
look
no
into
worries.
it.
Thank you. That was just a joke. I don't want to overbook you.
Mhm.
Now, another ticket from Moritz to evaluate our pushing of dev container images. I agree. We have tons of images pushed for the lifecycle toolkit. I'm also wondering, do we really need them since we are publishing them as part of our it's called, we have created a local registry inside our Docker or GitHub Actions.
Yeah, so for most of the tests that run in the pipeline, we do actually use local images and we never push them. But in the end, I think we still push some images, and that basically floods our registry and you will never find our actually released tagged images. So yeah, we could kind of revisit this and think about if we actually need to even push dev images at all. Maybe we'll find a way to not do that basically.
I'm also fine with not publishing to any registry our dev images because we are already uploading them into the GitHub Action workflow. So if you really need them, you can download them anyway.
Yeah, and they stay there for 60 days per default, I think, or 90.
So
all the artifacts from builds.
Yeah, we have a auto cleanup of the resources this way. So this ticket, if someone has to work on, is change all our actions to don't push any dev image to any external registry beside the local one that we create on the GitHub runner, right?
Yeah, it's not actually a registry. We're just exporting the tarballs of the images, basically. No registry included.
Okay, I'm ready to estimate. What about the rest? Do you have any questions? Okie dokie. Well, Anna, strong opinion for an S instead of an XS.
Sure, in my mind, it's just an if condition where we push, but maybe.
Yeah, make sure and testing that.
Yeah, the question is if we actually use the dev images somewhere else and we need to kind of have a workaround or a different solution for something where we need the images.
Yeah, we use them in some pipeline that can be triggered manually, but it's also a question whether we want those at all.
I thought we download them from the artifacts. I remember that I saw that, but yep, this is part of why it's a S and not an XS.
Okay, let's make it an S, fair.
Nice. And since some maintainers are already tired, looking at you, Thomas.
No,
With the coffee.
I think it depends on how many research you want to do. So I would also tend between an XS and an S. But I think it depends.
It shouldn't take much long anyway. And if it's too much effort, then it's about to create a follow-up ticket.
And we skip it. Yeah, or we skip it altogether. It's just a re-evaluation.
Yeah. And let's check up. Nice. No more tickets in the estimation bucket. So I think we are good to go for today. Then thanks everyone that joined this meeting. Have a great rest of your day and see you on next community meeting, which is tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.